Hello and welcome to Market Psychology 101, where we look for value in the markets when there's fear and are cautious when there's greed. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at some of the top altcoins available on Robinhood and Coinbase. If there are any altcoins you would like for me to go over and do technical analysis on, please comment those below. I won't be going over every altcoin because there's hundreds, if not thousands, on Coinbase. But if there's any in particular, comment those below. Be happy to do some bonus videos for y'all in the future. Let's get over to crypto fear and greed. And as you guys can see, ever since early mid-November, Bitcoin, crypto has been up in extreme greed, and it's starting to bounce up yet again. And I think that is a promising good thing as long as it stays up high in greed. Maybe if it stays there as time goes on, then we can draw a comparison to what happened in 2020 when Bitcoin was consistently getting above and staying above its all-time high in 2017. I'll show you this on the rainbow chart. Subscribe if you want to hear and see weekly videos on the Bitcoin cycles, what I think the data is showing. But in December 2020, when the greed was staying higher for longer, it was surpassing the top in 2017. And as it moved up, that is when we had that first top, 65K. Here in November 21, it was around 69K. But the alt season was in this first part of the year. So I'm wondering, are we going to get a 4-year cycle alt season from this point? Do we only have about 4 to 6 months left? We'll see. But right now, crypto, you can see on the rainbow chart, look at that. It is moving up in this yellow zone. Let's zoom in a little bit. If we start getting into these orange zones, be extremely cautious. Not that you shouldn't be already, but in these zones, altcoins, better prices, some of them are really starting to pump. But I would not be buying anything really up here. This is the time to take profits. This is the time to buy. However, if you're new and you're retail, I know there's a fear of missing out. You see stories about people getting a 10x. Of course, anything's possible, but you are buying at a premium. You're taking an increased risk. And if you're not going to pay attention even once a month to a handful of stocks or cryptos, then you're really gambling. So do be cautious with that. I know all of you work very hard for your money, and I hate seeing friends and family buying at the top. I know people who did last time, they're still holding some of their bags, whether it's for Bitcoin or altcoins. But Bitcoin finally, after 4 years, they have a little bit of a profit when they bought from back here. So anyways, just do be cautious about buying in. But we want to see greed stay up here. And then as you guys can see, the eventual top came later when greed started to go down. So if we can stay high in greed for a month or two, I think that's a good thing. Of course, I know many of you here are for altcoins. That's why you're watching this video. An important thing to look out for is the Bitcoin dominance cycle and Bitcoin dominance going down. So showing that over on the chart, you can type in BTC.D, that's Bitcoin dominance. You can see that in 2017, when Bitcoin dominance went all the way down to the high 30% inside of 4 weeks. That date you see at the bottom, January 8th, I'll never forget that day. That's when altcoins started selling off. So when Bitcoin dominance looks like it's about bottoming in this low to mid 40% range, probably the last chance to take some profits. Same here in 2021, came down for 6 weeks. Really, it was May 10th. That's when alt season ended. There were some alts that ran later in November during that double peak. But again, that would be quite risky to hold through there unless those alts just never ran earlier. And this time, I've been saying this is a signal of the beginning of the end. Bitcoin dominance has loved the 20-week moving average all the way up. Those are the red lines, EMA, SMA, and finally went under. Now it's at the 50-week moving average, wicked under. So if it keeps closing here, great. I do wonder if, like the last 2 cycles, you can see how dominance formed a base, came up, formed a base, came up. I wonder if it's going to form a base and come up again before going down. Or, other scenario, it's just going to keep going down. So you have to be ready for either of those scenarios, because if it just goes down by, I don't know, March, April, then the best time for taking profits and getting into crypto is most likely past. outside of some gambles, but do be aware of that chart. As far as the alt season index, when you go to blockchaincenter.net, shout out, not sponsored, click the yearly, you see more of the macro chart. We are just getting the highest spike in the alt season index altcoin year that we've had this whole cycle. So last cycle, there were 3 spikes around that September 2020 time, which is kind of curious. We'll talk about that more in a second. And then later we had the true alt season in May. I talked about another one later in the year, but really a lot of alts were, most of them pumped in here. What's curious about this September 2020 mark, and for you subscribers, followers, you already know what I'm going to say. September 2020 is when Bitcoin dominance peaked, I believe. No, that was September 2019. Never mind. Where were we in September 2020? September 2020, down here. Okay, so that's good to know. Sorry, I was thinking of the year before. So September 2020, we had Bitcoin dominance forming a base. The last base it would form before going up, its final peak, that double peak, and then going back down. So are we in a similar time like September 2020 getting there where maybe again we form a peak, go up and then down? Who knows? We'll see. Going over to Bitcoin, and then we'll get into some of the top altcoins, I promise. You can see Bitcoin loving this trend line from the 2021 top. The 1618 Fibonacci retracement is here at 102,000 roughly, give or take 1,000. You all know how it goes. But the way this works, I've taken my fib off log scale. You have the Fibonacci retracement tool right here. You can draw macro-wise from the high to the low, the most recent all-time high, we're talking back here, to the low, and then make sure your chart's on log scale, and then you go to your chart. This is how we look for price points. You take it off log scale, that's how you look for certain price points to take profit. So that's how you find these different extensions. So the 2618 and 155K, right now the 155K area, if we did have a top, let's go to April. If we had a 155K area, that would be in the yellowish orange band. So somewhere in here. So maybe in the rainbow chart, Bitcoin only gets up to one of these orange bands. You can see each time it goes down a band color. And so last time it was reddish orange. Maybe it only gets to one of these. Again, we'll see. Predictions are not as important as having a strategy. So anyways, let's get into it. Let's take a look at some of the top altcoins out there. Ethereum right now, we have this trend line that it's trying to break out over. You can see that it's wicking above right there. And if it can get more up to that 786, that'll be great. If we take a look at the daily, you can see it's looking pretty bullish. So again, if it gets to the 786, even if it were to come back down, test that trend line. Is my trend line perfect? No, not by any means, but let's try to scooch that a little bit. Okay, and then we'll take this. This is how all the magic happens here, guys. We'll take this, we'll try to match it to the top of that point before. So we're not out of fake out territory yet, but I would be looking to see what Ethereum does over here. When Ethereum starts to go, I think that's going to be big for the alt season narrative, and then a lot of the Ethereum-based cryptos are going to run. Right now, Ethereum has a market cap of 460 billion. A lot of you new retail people, I see the things y'all say on other YouTube channels and on Twitter, now X. A lot of people ignore market cap, or they think market cap is something that doesn't exist. So for all of you that do know, bear with me for just 30 seconds. All because the price of an asset is low doesn't mean it's cheap. You can see Doge, it's worth 43 cents now, has a market cap of 63, almost 64 billion. Great. So when we go to something like Cardano, which has a higher price, again, it has a lower market cap. So if you're talking about any of these cryptos going to a certain price, whatever people want to say, then you have to calculate the market cap. So when people say XRP is going to 10,000, you take $10,000 divided by $2.33, whatever that number is, multiply it by this market cap. And let me just tell you, when you figure out that number, you know that XRP is never going to 10,000 because it's not going to be worth more than the entire global GDP. That's how stupid some of these predictions are. So please educate yourself about market cap. It's one of the simplest ways you can be careful for you and your friends. So do know that when you're investing. Right now, Ethereum, as I said, yes, it has a market cap 460 billion. So if you were investing $1,000 into Ethereum, or let's say $10,000, all right, and you want to double your money to $20,000, right? You would be looking for Ethereum to go from 3,800, or let's just say 4,000, nice round number. You'd be looking for that 4,000 number to become 8,000, all right? And then the market cap, Ethereum would be worth around 500 billion, close to a trillion. I know it'd be like 920 trillion. But when we take a look at some of those price points, again, if you're thinking of any number that you want, again, it's not about what we want, it's about realistic. Any number that you're looking for as a price point, again, take your fib off log, high to low. You see the 1618 is around 7,300, so almost a 2x. And you can see the 2618 is at around 11,000. A lot of people I've been seeing talking about 10K Ethereum. Okay, that's great. But if it were to do that, it would be doing about a 3x from here to get to this number. So 10,000 to be 30,000 and then worth a little bit under 1.5 trillion. But here's something to remember for everyone out there. And of course, times can be different this time around, but I've heard it the last two cycles. Last two cycles when Bitcoin is going crazy into these higher levels. That's when all the good news is coming out. People are spouting all this nonsense. You'd think they were promoting some sort of pyramid scheme, but they're saying, oh, this is going to change the world. It's going to be great. I've heard that this cycle. I've heard that last cycle. Guys, if you have an opportunity to make a 2x inside of a year or a 10x, that is really rare in the world of investing. It is okay to take profits. You don't have to wait for the 100x. Crypto is very volatile, moves up quick, moves down quick. So do know that if you don't sell up here, it is likely that those amazing profits will go to the wayside. So I have to say all those things as far as when it comes to altcoins. Let's go to XRP. Let's talk about XRP next. And XRP, we're going to go to let's go to the US dollar one on Binance. I think I've tried this one before. All right. So I've talked about XRP and how in order for me to feel any different than this one, I want to see two things from it. One, in the 2017 cycle, okay, we drew our fib. The 786 was at about $1.62. And that's really only as high as it got to. It never closed candle body above the 786. Okay, so XRP underperformed last cycle. Did eventually get to $1.98. That's where we draw our new fib. So I've been saying that XRP, I need to see it get above the 786. It did that. Great, yay, happy for all you XRP people. It has a market cap of 133 billion, right? XRP at the 1618 is around $3.03. If it were to get above that, I think that would be glorious for all you XRP holders, and anything above that would be wonderful for you. I think realistically, the 1618 would be a great target for profits at $3. But if it got mega bullish, you could wait for the 2618 at around $4.72. I've seen people talking about $5 XRP. That's close to the 2618. To me, that's believable. But when you get above $5, I think, again, that is less likely, even though this crypto is worth over $100 billion. Again, it does not stay that price for long. You can see last two cycles, when it goes up, it comes down, and quite a bit. And all those people who believed in XRP back here, you can see 97% drawdown. Let's fix this fib a little. Okay. And then from this top, again, this is why it's important to take those profits when you can. This one about 85%. Okay. So wherever XRP gets to, let's just say $3 for argument's sake. Maybe it goes down 75%, okay, to somewhere around 74 cents, 80%. I don't know. But just something to be aware of is that after these altcoins do run up, within the next 3 years, this has happened the last two cycles, they come way down here. So bullish targets for XRP, $3, around 470, but I would say anything higher than that, be careful. Let's go to Doge. I know I have a lot of Doge fans in here. And Doge, which one have I charted? Yay! All right, we have a chart on this Doge. So Doge, right now, it is at the 786. This is one I talked about, again, in the same vein, that all because it did great last time, it has to get past the 786. Now, Is it getting over it? Yes, but I want to see entire candle bodies on the weekly getting up here. Right now, it is stuck at the 786. So is Doge going to be like XRP last cycle where it gets stuck there? Maybe. I don't know. Doge, again, predictions really don't matter. You want to see your strategy work regardless of your predictions. So again, if we take our fib off log scale, you see the 1618 is at about $1.18, and then the 2618 at about $1.88. Again, factor in market cap. If Doge, currently worth 43 cents, is going to somewhere around $1.18, or that'd be a 3x from here, then Doge is going to be worth roughly $190 billion. All right. So Doge, right now that it's at the 786, for me, myself, not financial advice for you, if I were to have accumulated Doge down here, I might be taking some profits here. And then having a plan where you know how much profits to take at those next price targets, or when Bitcoin dominance tanks. Maybe you're going to wait a little bit longer, but do have a plan, because the whole reason, again, having worked in the field of psychology for a decade, that I can tell you guys is emotion is not a decision maker. It's not a good decision maker in stressful situations, in relationships, especially in investing. Emotion is an indicator, not a decision maker. So make sure that whatever plan you have, you are using that frontal lobe of yours, last area of your brain to really fully develop, that you are thinking and following your plan, not gambling and losing your hard-earned money. I don't want to see that happen for you guys. I know how hard you work. So next, let's go over to, let's see what other ones we've talked about before. Solana. I believe Solana you can get on Coinbase. I have not looked at Solana in a hot minute, so curious to see where Solana is at. Is this the one we've charted? Great. All right, so Solana broke out of that channel. Wonderful. We can do, maybe I won't delete that yet, because if Solana comes back down to the channel, maybe it gets a bounce. You can see the 20-week moving averages there, but Solana got up to its former all-time high back here in November 21, and it rejected a little bit. We could see a bounce down here somewhere around 180 and then go further. Okay, this is in a bullish scenario. And again, if we were to take a look at price targets, take our fib off log, can you imagine Solana at around 416? So market cap possibly doubling. I've heard people talking about $1,000 Solana, right? So $1,000 Solana right now would be roughly a 4x, okay? So a 4x or so would put Solana close to $500 billion. Do you believe that Solana can be worth $500 billion? That is a question for you to decide. I don't know that answer. But again, when you make these predictions or you're hoping for a certain price, you do need to have a plan, because many times these plans, they don't work out, or the predictions don't work out. So do have a strategy that is better than your plan, right? Let's next go over to, let's do a couple more here. Cardano, why not? We haven't talked about Cardano in a while. I do not know how well Cardano's been doing, so let's take a look. All right, Cardano, I was adding some extra things on that fib. Let's start over. Okay, we have that base there. Cool. Maybe I was looking at like a future bottom or something. I'm not sure. Forget what I was talking about, but we'll draw the fib correctly. And all right, so Cardano, it has been moving up. Let's put our fib on log scale because we're in between. Right now, Cardano is stuck at the 618, 786 at about $1.75. So that's the next target. Then, of course, the former all-time high, $3. Can Cardano get above its former all-time high? Again, me personally, I would look to take some profits at the 786 I showed you. But price targets above that for Cardano, if we scroll this down, the 1618 is about $4.87. So something to keep a lookout for Cardano. Really, if I'm taking a look at some of these altcoins, can it 2x, can it 3x, can it 4x? The larger cap altcoins are going to be lesser multiples. So just something to keep in mind. Chainlink. Let's go over to Chainlink, one of my favorites. I love Chainlink. I own some of it. So all because I own it, please do not buy it, all right? I'm an idiot on YouTube. Don't listen to me. So Chainlink Right now, the all-time high was at $53. Got down, it was accumulating in the $6 to $7 range. Had a nice move up to this is why we draw these fibs. Look at how the price action honors. I have the moving averages. I'll show you my indicators here. The EMA 20, 50, 100, 200 works great. And then this is a buy sell signal one. It's pretty good. 10, 20 MA crossover. So use those. I like them. So we drew our fib high to the low. You can see that Link got up to the 618, came down, tested some of these supports at the 382, at these moving averages, came down to this trend line. Okay. Love that trend line, the 200-week moving average. Man, I'm so sad I missed out at this fib level down here. Was able to get some Link down here, but right now it's taking off. So it got up to the 618. I want to see candle bodies closing completely above it and challenge the 786 at about $32. And then if Link were to go a lot higher, so for example, take a look at this, the last cycle when Link topped in 2017. Okay, it came up to the 3618 and the 4236. But then it started to go higher from that time forward. So again, we'll see. But if we were to take a look at some price targets for a Link, then we could take that off log. And do you believe, can Link get up to $180, $210? I'll leave, if Link gets above these levels, of course I'm going to take some profits. But I'll leave a certain portion in to see if this happens. And again, have a plan. What if that doesn't happen? Do you have an area to take profits when it starts going down? Sort of a sell order or stop loss, as traders call it. So if you're hoping for these numbers and certain events start to happen, maybe Bitcoin dominance already tanked, you do have to have backup plans on when to get out. So do keep that in mind. Will Link get that high? I don't know. Again, we take a look at the market cap, 24 billion. We're talking about a 9-10x. So we're talking about Link having a market cap of between 130, 150 billion. Can that happen? I don't know. Seems unrealistic, but maybe. And I sure hope so, because Link is one I've liked a lot. And let's do one more. Let's do one more altcoin here. And I hope y'all are understanding this analysis. If you have any questions, please let me know. Let's look at HBAR. I've seen HBAR popping up in the news lately. On some of the crypto news. So Hedera, I know I have to like type this in a certain way to get to it, because there's like Hedera hash graph or whatever. the coin's name is a mouthful. All right, so Hedera hash graph. As you can see, we drew a fib, high to low. Okay, had this trend line, broke under briefly, and now wow, look at this. This dip, how defeating must this have been? Now, if you were to have on the buy signals and you're just buying when we get weekly buy signals, and hey, you would have got a great price. If you would have drawn the Fibonacci retracement, yes, you're getting at deep value. But what I like to say in stocks is it's deep value for a reason. All because something's deep value does not mean it has to run again. So you're taking on increased risk. But we've seen this in the last two crypto cycles where crap will just pop out of nowhere, even when it's looking dead. So right now, it's gotten up to the 786, around 32 cents. Again, that 786 is going to be important. Any altcoins that did really well in prior cycles, the 786 has to be beaten. Now, I do think it's smart to take some profits there, at least get some of your return on investment back. I'm just going to say ROI. But again, if we're going to look at some of those price targets, then we can say, okay, can Hedera or HBAR get up to 90 cents? Can it do a 3x from here? Can it do, man, you see some of these up here, can it do like a 6x at least? And HBAR, its market cap currently around 11 billion. Can HBAR be worth $70 billion? That's a question for you to answer. Now, if you start typing these things in on YouTube and you're looking for those self-fulfilling prophecies, be careful of that. You will find so many people given every reason why HBAR can be worth 100 billion, 200 billion, so on, so forth. Beware those echo chambers. You need to be able to have constructive criticism on whether something can get to that price or not get to that price. So if you're buying in any of these, then you want to be fair in your analysis. Don't just fall for all the hype and the FOMO that people are sharing now on all these problems and potential partnerships that all of them are going to have. I mean, I've heard about, some of these cryptos having partnerships with Amazon or Apple or Google, but then it's just a news article. And really, what problem are they actually solving? So right now, a lot of these things, they sound good in the news or in these articles, the things people post, but it doesn't mean it has to happen. Again, throw that crap out the window. What I am looking at here is just the charts. What do the charts tell me? Am I buying at a good price within? This is just how my brain works. So when I go to buy something, am I buying it within range of the yearly low or the last year's high? Buying at a high, I'm not going to buy there because I'm buying at a premium. I don't like that price. Okay. I showed you guys how to draw the Fibonacci retracements. Okay. Am I buying at a good value on the Fib? Am I buying at a good value on, I like to take a look at the weekly, on the moving averages? Okay. We're under the moving averages. Heck, I'll even just show you something bigger like NVIDIA. Okay. So NVIDIA staying up really high, but if it's getting under those big moving averages, hey, this is deep value. I'm getting a discount. And if you like something enough to buy it here, you should love buying it here. Now, again, there's ways to offset that with buy signals. Let's go back to crypto here. I've talked about this before. So fibs, moving averages, buy signals. I also like, this is all about psychology. That's what indicators are for, and mitigating risk. I also like the stochastic RSI. When it's low and it's flipping positive, blue above orange, get in the shaded area. Okay, so those are some of my dollar cost average strategies. Take and leave whatever you want, but I think that simplifies. Again, throw the name out the window. I don't care what crypto or stock it is. Even though that research matters, can you take an unbiased look at the technical analysis and say, is that a good buy, good discount, or am I buying at a premium? Okay, and if you are buying here at any of these prices, you should love buying it here. If you are going to buy here and not here, then I'm going to be honest with you, you should not be buying in at all. All right, because then you're just gambling. You're hoping for it to only go up, and let's be honest, let's be realistic, things do go down. And sometimes you'll lose, sometimes you'll win. And that's why, like I said before, it's good to just pay attention once a week, every other week, once a month. And that way you can at least dollar cost average in at these lower prices. Now's the exciting time. For all patient people, use emotion as an indicator. Now we can wait and take some profits and let all that patience start to pay off. So again, comment below if there's any altcoins available on Coinbase or Robinhood you would like for me to talk about. Tomorrow, I'm probably going to do my stock market video where I go over all the different stock market charts, indicators. And then Friday, I'm hoping Friday to do a live stream. I haven't done one in a few weeks. So anyways, let me know what you think in the comments below and have a wonderful day. Take care.